Hello and welcome. Today we talk about HellBlade.
Welcome and thanks for joining episode 23.
Well, there you go. And we're going to talk about some gaming news, and we're going to talk about how handsome Gino is. Let's start the show.
Always.
Hello, welcome to GGrated. We hope you enjoy the show. Now here are the hosts.
Hello, this is January 21st, 2024. Welcome, everybody, to GGrated, where we go over gaming, tech, movies, and news. Mostly lately, it's been gaming. Me and Gino hopped on, for the first time in a long time, played some multiplayer and co-op games together last night. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about some news.
What are you eating? All I hear is Tom.
Sorry. I'm sorry. So, this is a public service announcement.
At 12 o'clock at lunchtime. So
these things are called Gin-Gins. They are ginger chews. They are very delicious.
Okay.
It's a ginger candy.
Oh, I cannot do the ginger. I cannot do the ginger, man.
It's like spicy.
Well, I'll say this. It's been a little bit since we did not have a recording last week. We decided to take a little break. We've been recording 22 straight weeks, right? With a podcast, because this is episode 23. So we took a week off, decided to kind of hang with the families a little bit, kind of catch up. We had a lot of work going on and stuff. So we're back. We actually got some co-op playing going on. We're here to discuss some gaming news of the week, of some not gaming news of the week, but also gaming moment of the week. And Josh got to play some HellBlade. So for the first time, I told him about
VR.
Now I had not done that.
I played it in regular flat screen mode last night, and then today I played it in VR mode. Dude, it's going to be pretty cool to talk about both experiences, and it's going to be fun to talk about how this game is on sale and you can grab it.
Yeah.
The sale ends in 3 days, so actually it's going to be 2 by the time this comes out. So
we're gonna jump into that most definitely. But right off the dot, I say we go ahead and jump into the gaming moment of the week.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Gaming moment of the week.
Great. We're gonna have to go with you, man, with that for the gaming moment of the week. Go ahead and knock it out of the park first. Let you go first this time.
I was thinking about this because there's a few games I've been playing. I've been playing The Messenger, which is it's a side-scrolling platformer. It's really fun. You're playing as a ninja. And I also played some games with you, and that was really fun too. We really didn't get to play together on Gotham Knights how I wanted. That would have probably been my gaming moment of the week. So I would say it really happened this morning with HellBlade, and I'm going to talk more about it, but it's really cool because the perspective that you're playing at, you're still in the third-person perspective watching her, but she'll like turn and like look at you in certain parts, and it's really cool how it kind of plays into...
The graphics are ridiculous, man, on that game.
Yeah, and they even look really great in VR. Like, dude, she gets right up in your face, and you can see all the details in her face, and it's really wild. Because I guess you're playing as... She's got like a split personality. She might be schizophrenic or something, and I guess you're one of the voices that's in the background too. Like, that's who you're... So it really feels like I'm actually there, kind of spying over her shoulder. Yeah. And when you look around, she'll walk in that direction. So it's really wild. It's not like any other VR game I've played, really, because this one is from the third-person perspective. So it's really cool, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play into the game. So I think that was the moment specifically, the gaming moment of the week, would probably be at the beginning of the game where she is walking across this bridge and you're really high off of the ground, and she kind of like not stumbles, but she kind of jerks every now and then, like she's trying to get her balance. And I literally went like, because it feels like I was about to fall off.
One thing I want to point out when you talk about that, I don't know if you noticed this, but they did a lot of, I think they tout her as like bipolar schizophrenic, right?
Yeah.
And they do a lot of care and a lot of touching on the audio on this game.
Oh yeah.
And they do a really good job with the audio to kind of, I don't know if you played it with, you said VR, so it's even more immersive than even I experienced, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But if you do the headset, the actual headset, dude, it's out of this world, the sound you hear while you're going through this world.
That's what's crazy about the Oculus Quest 2 headset is it's got audio that pumps out through it, and it's actually really, really good. Like it's not all the way up against your ears, but it's still right there as if you're hearing the sound in person. It's really good audio quality, so I can hear all the little voices and little whispers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to go through it and experience it in VR. I had started playing it, like I said, regular, and that was already a really cool experience, but it's just on a whole nother level in VR, and I didn't even know it was going to come with the VR version, and I got the whole thing for $3, which is crazy.
I didn't know they had a VR version, but anyways, definitely guys, if you haven't played HellBlade, play it. HellBlade 2 is coming up here soon on Xbox. So it's always a great game. It's usually around 8 hours or so. People complain about it being short, but honestly, I'm okay with it,
Yep.
Man, I'll go into my gaming moment of the week. Obviously, I did a stream earlier on our channel, and It Takes Two is the game. It's like one of the Game of the Year nominees and stuff.
It's so good. Such a good game.
Yeah. So Gray's played it. He's told me about it.
I believe it actually won. Actually.
It actually won Game of the Year. Okay, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I can see why, because instantly it draws you into it. But Gray told me about it, and I was like, man, that'd be a good game for my daughter that's 13 and me to play. So we both got on the stream and we started playing it. And what's so crazy about it is my daughter's got better and better playing the games. Like I don't even have to tell her. She was telling me what to do on some of the spots. So she was doing actually really well. And we went through like the first kind of boss that we fight a vacuum cleaner that's mad that see, all these things come to life, and I don't know much more about the game. I won't go into it, but the best moment was sitting there and the dad and mom's talking. They give him this sad speech about they're talking about getting a divorce, right? And when they're talking about getting a divorce, the little girl is sad and all that stuff. Well, my daughter's over here on the side, and she says, man, they're old. He looks old looking. I was like, what do you mean they look old, And it's like, they got gray hair. I was like, I didn't see no gray hair. What are you talking about? So it was just funny. She makes different kind of comments about the game, and she's looking at different things than what I'm looking at, like, I'm like, oh man, that's so sad. And she's thinking the whole time, man, he's old, So, but we had a blast. We both worked together on the game, which I absolutely loved. Actually being her teammate on the game and getting through it, and hopefully we're going to get through the whole game. Because you beat it, right? If I remember,
did.
You and Raven
and Shepard actually played
Shep.
together. No, it was me and Shep. And dude, it's a very long game. Actually, there's a lot of content there. There's a lot of different levels. I mean, it took us a good bit to beat it, and I know you don't like puzzles, but there's a lot of puzzles too.
No,
but it's definitely more interactive. There are a few of them where like it legit, I was like, how in the world am I going to get past this? But we did. It's fun. It's very, very worth it. It's whoever came up with it has a lot of imagination. Like it is really a special game. So I'm glad that y'all are enjoying it together.
Yeah, we definitely are. So that's a big plus on the recommendation scale. I'll say thank you, G-Ray.
Yeah,
man. With that being said, let's get into the gaming news.
All right, check it out. There's one thing I wanted to mention first. I just found this website before we got on. It's called GG.deals. GG.deals
So GG rated deals.
shows, yeah, kind of, sort of. It shows. So this website has no affiliation with us at all, but it just happens to fit our
I like how you had to say
name.
that. Make
Yeah,
sure.
so it shows all the deals going on right now, and in particularly Steam, it shows. Hold on, I got to turn this down behind me. My son has just cranked up. You little stinker!
He's smiling like, oh yeah, I'm getting on
I
this
know
show one way or another. I'm getting on it.
he cranked up Minecraft back here like a little stinker bug. Anyways, so GG.deals, it shows the number one game, the hot deal is HellBlade Sinuous Sacrifice for $2.99. It's the historical low. It's 90% off. So that is the top hot deal. The next hottest deal is Evil West, which I have not played that. Choo Choo Charles is another one.
What is that?
Blacktail Ultimate Goose Game is only $9.99. I don't know.
That's a good game. I'll play that game.
I have no idea. But if you scroll down here, like, it shows all the great and hot deals that are going on right now. And it shows the historical lows. Like, it's just, this is going to be a website I think I'm going to come back to often, instead of having to like look all through Steam trying to find out what's on sale. I can just go to this website and say, oh crap, that's a great deal. Because I love it when these games are like 90% off. It's an easy buy.
Oh, absolutely.
So I thought that was really cool. So that's a bit of news there. And also, the other bit of news, or actually, I'm going to let you go with your news first, and we can come back to this other bit.
Okay.
Unless you don't have anything.
No, I just wanted to talk about one thing. I don't know if you saw the news in reference to Ubisoft. Ubisoft actually came out and made a comment and was talking about the future of games, obviously. And their comment was that they're no longer going to be making physical discs for their games. And and they talked about that, you know, people need to get comfortable. And now I'm paraphrasing here. People need to get comfortable with not owning their games. And then that is when subscriptions are going to really take off. And it kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, because if you put all the power in the company's hands, right, you already see it happening on a lot of these games. They get delisted, right? So I just feel like it's going to be a situation where if they want to get rid of a game and then bring it back up for $70 again just to buy, and you can be constantly rebuying the same game. Now, we kind of experienced that already with Nintendo. When they go to a new console, most of the time they do a remaster or whatever for the next console, and you rebuy it over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
But the big catch to that is, hey, if you had the physical media on the old game, you can still play that game and not have to buy this $70 new game with the same thing on this new console, right? If you get rid of this physical media, that's no more. So to me, I feel like they're saying like, hey, if you want to pirate, it's okay, you know, because they're getting rid of every other source to be able to do it.
And really, if they're going to a model that is software only and don't have to pay that extra overhead to make games and to ship them all out and everything, the price of games should come down. But it's went nothing but up.
It has.
Like, the price of games should go down. It shouldn't be, what is it for like a AAA game is like $69 or something?
Yeah, $70 minimum now, so $60.
Which is kind of crazy. And it's even crazier too. I was watching a YouTube channel, what's his name? Retro Rick, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to different places because he buys a lot of physical media. And he was going to places like Target and all. And like most of the games aren't even there. Like, they're just not selling. So I think physical media for now might die. But I believe, just like he does, it's going to make a comeback to where, I don't know. It's just like, you look at ebooks, you look at things like that. There are people who still desire that. And I don't think it's ever going to completely go away, but you might see a resurgence of a lot of developers doing this until, you know, people start speaking with their wallets and being like, hey, you know, but who knows? There's a next generation of gamers out too that might not even give a crap. So,
Well, I mean, I think that's the issue is more and more people is starting to not really worry about the physical because yes, it is convenient to just sit here and turn on your console and click on a game and play it, right? The only problem
Yeah.
is how far does it go? Where are we going to do all subscriptions and you don't never own a game? Is that where
Right.
is that okay? I mean, because me honestly, the only console I collect on, the only console I buy physical on is my Nintendo Switch, right? Because
Yeah.
it's portable. There's a lot of games that you're not going to be able to get. Plus, I know the history of Nintendo. The next console comes out, they'll do Super Mario Odyssey, you know, that game. They'll probably redo that game, say, hey, this is going to be 4K 60, but it's the same game. They add a little features in there. But instead, I can have it on my Switch now, and that's it. Like, I can play it anytime I want to, or I can emulate it, you know, if I own that game. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of a hard sell. I mean,
like one thing that would stink is if they made all digital stuff only playable online. There are a lot of games like that. Like you can't even open them until it's online. I encountered that when I was playing not Steep, but the other one, Riders Republic. I believe I don't know if it's an EA game or if it's a Ubisoft game, but anyways, regardless, I like to play a lot of games offline on my Steam Deck, whether I be at work on my lunch break or whatever.
yeah.
And sometimes I have to get the hotspot out or I have to connect to internet just so that I can open up certain games, which is crazy to play. Like you don't even need to be online. It's an offline story. And it's like they make you get online so you
Starfield.
You can even play it. Yeah, it's crazy. And with physical media, you never had to worry about that. Like you got the game, that's what the game was. Now it's like even if you do get physical media, it still downloads a bunch of crap.
I was just about to say that the only
console.
downfall to having the physical only, right, and not having to download anything is public. You know, these developers and game companies are now getting used to not completing the game all the way before release. They know that they can release these games. And I know we're kind of going off on a little topic here, but I mean, it kind of goes one in one with physical versions because this is the issue that happens every time a physical version comes out. It's not complete. It's not without a big patch. What they call is a day one patch, you know, and you put it in there and it should play like it used to play on like PS2, PS3 and all, where you put the CD in and boom, you should be able to play it, right? But now you put it in, it downloads 40 gigs or more patches just to make it work. And sometimes it doesn't even work. So if say you're offline, you're all the way in Iraq, I don't know, somewhere that doesn't have much capability for internet, and you get this game and plug it into your console, you're not going to be able to play it because of the patches that's going to have. So even physical media is going downhill in that aspect, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is something lost there too because it's real. There's a coffee shop that me and my boy like to go to, and they have like a Genesis, and they have some other kind of system that'll play like Super Nintendo games and stuff, and they actually have the physical games there for you to like lock in and to hit play. Yeah, and it's cool to have that like tactile feel of actually doing that. Like he enjoys going in there just to do that. And I don't want that to get lost on the next generation. I really hope that stuff stays alive, at least with retro games.
And they got some really good games too that they're going to be losing if they do that. I mean,
there's games that I think are lost all the time. That's why you have places like internetarchive.org or .com or .org. Anyways, it's called Internet Archive, and they try to archive all these things that might get lost in the byways, you know, because there are certain medias and stuff that do just get lost, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out. We can think and we can try to guess all day, but the market's crazy. Like it's liable to just go one
completely
direction.
software only or subscription only and force it upon the markets, which, man, I tell you, I can't do another subscription. I'm done with these subscriptions,
I
man.
don't want
They
to do
add
any more
up.
subscriptions either.
But
Yeah, it's crazy.
with that being said, man, you want to go into the next section and talk a little bit about maybe some Gotham Knights and HellBlade a little bit more? What do you think?
Well, I got one more bit of news I was going to talk about
what
and
you
try to
got?
decipher it a bit with you. So it was a talk. They were talking with Microsoft about their acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and I think the news outlets are kind of reading into this a bit too much. But the headline here is Microsoft can now be a good publisher on Sony and Nintendo and PCs and Xbox. CEO says so. Build great games and deliver them to folks across all platforms. So it's looking like Microsoft is talking about what it's going to look like to develop games that go to all these different platforms and not just theirs. So I was
But
going
that's
to
been
kind of
their
pick
deal the
your
whole
brain about
time.
it.
That's
right, but
I looked
let's
into that.
see.
I looked into that, and
Thank you.
apparently
Well,
Xbox
talk about it.
responded. Yeah, Xbox responded, and especially Phil Spencer, and they are saying they are not going third party. They are staying first party. They straight out said that, but they are doing the fact now that they're still doing the same model that you and me has talked about several times about going PC, going Xbox, and then any other kind of models like the Samsung TV that has Game Pass built into it now, right? So,
they're also developing games for PlayStation too.
For some of the games that's going to be a decision per game is what they said for PlayStation, right? Nintendo, so they are as well because they have such a large platform like Call of Duty. They already stated that part of the deal is they're going to make a Call of Duty for Nintendo, but that's been said since the acquisition of Activision. I think people are taking it when you jumble what they said in one sentence. I think it was Nadella, I forget his name, that is over Microsoft, the CEO of Microsoft. He had it all came from an interview that he said saying that they're looking to publish for all these companies now, which has been their mark the whole time. In other words, he doesn't want to do the exclusivity anymore because there's more money in the game. If you get your game on PlayStation and it sells 5 million copies, I mean, you're making your money back on this Activision deal, right? So I think people are taking it like, oh, they're getting out of the first party system, but they also saying that same, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but not the quote that he does, is saying that it's going to Xbox. Oh. So they're saying to Xbox, and it's also going to these other platforms. Mm-hmm. So if you pick in my brain, you're asking me about it. Yeah. I absolutely do not think they're going to just throw away and just go software only like a Sega did. You know, I don't think that's going to happen.
I was just thinking like what it's going to look like if they're developing for all these different platforms. Is it going to be like, okay, first these things come out on Xbox and PC, and then eventually maybe a year later it can trickle down to Sony? Like how are the deals going to change? And he just talked about being a good developer for every platform. Yeah. It's like, okay, so here's this is the main thing I wanted to talk about with this is like, so you look at how great Microsoft has been as far as talking about every other company. They've really went above and beyond to be nice about, oh, wow, that's awesome that, Sony has this and that. Like they've tried to be friends. They've tried to be friendly. But this is a business, and the business is make more money next year than you did last year, and I'm looking at what is it going to look like if they keep developing for every system, and also in the meantime they keep buying over companies. They might end up having a monopoly on all of this stuff, and Microsoft could own every platform.
So you're really thinking that the monopoly? So you're going on board of the monopoly thing?
Maybe. And like I say that because if they start coming out with banging games, and it's going to be released on every system. And everybody starts to like more and more what Microsoft is doing. Like, let's just say they start making incredible first-party games, which are getting even better than PlayStation, which would be hard because PlayStation has some bangers.
Yeah.
But let's just say that starts happening because they have all these different developers that can do this. And so everybody's like, okay, like, why would I buy a PlayStation anymore when Microsoft like literally has everything and has more ways to play? I know there's diehard PlayStation fans, but
Yeah.
I'm
But
just
if
looking
you
at
take
like
away,
what this might look like in about 10 years or so.
I think I
What
get
is
what
this gonna
I think
look
I'm
like?
feeling you. Tell me if I'm tracking you here. But PlayStation right now, what they have, can you answer me this? What PlayStation has right now is they have the stories in the single player aspect, right? They have the best single player experiences that you can get on platforms. Is that correct or not? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't have one anymore, so I can't tell you.
But I mean, you don't have to have. I don't either. Do you believe that like God of War, the Spider-Man, the Horizon Zero Dawn, I mean, you can keep naming more and more and more the platform games like Ratchet and Clank, and I mean, you can just name all kinds of things that are exclusive. Final Fantasy, that's exclusive on PlayStation, right? And I know Final Fantasy is kind of getting away from that a little bit. But
it's different for me because every game that you listed, like, they weren't my favorites. So I was like, eh.
Yeah. But I'm talking about in general for the public, not with us. And I think that's what took the stronghold on the PlayStation 4. Obviously, just crushed Xbox, right? And I think it had to do with what we're talking about now happening with physical media, right? About how they wanted to be online, and they got away from the gaming only aspect to it. I feel like if you take that and do what you were saying, and Xbox actually starts making these really great games that people are just dying to get to, right? Then you're going to have that concern of they're just going to swallow PlayStation, or PlayStation might be the actual one that goes third party, right?
Yeah.
Because all this money's going to them.
You're seeing it more and more with everything that they're releasing on the, over like to Steam and things like that. Like, there's games, I will say there are games on Sony's platform that I'm still like waiting on, which would be Ghost of Tsushima is one that I've been wanting to play so bad, and I'm waiting for it to come to PC. But there's other games that have eventually came to PC and have been really great. And I don't think they can deny that more and more people are going PC. So it's going to be for their best interest to release them sooner than later onto PC. You look at Death Stranding is another one that was like, I couldn't wait for that to come to PC, so
I've thought about making a video about that specifically for people, because I'm a real life experience here. I was Xbox, I had a Series X, you was on PC. I was talking to you and you're like, hey, look, you can play. I remember conversations with you and you saying, look, Gino, you can play those games on PC. Let me show you. And you actually had to show me, like, hey, this is it's not you having to look online and download stuff. Like, you get on Steam, it's like a marketplace, just like you have on Xbox and PlayStation. And that's the central place. That's what everybody uses. And believe it or not, that's what I thought about making a video of it, is what you said is God of War and all that stuff that's on PlayStation. Eventually it does come out. Xbox comes out immediately on PC, along with the Xbox. So I have not missed my Xbox at all. Because every game that's on Xbox is on PC.
Yeah.
So, and they're releasing on Steam as well at the same time. So I don't feel like you missed. The only thing you miss is if you want to, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the second part is coming out in the next couple weeks, right? They're not going to release that game maybe ever. They still haven't released the first remake. There's just some games they won't release on PC because PlayStation is still holding out that exclusivity, which will make me have to buy a PlayStation, right? But other than that, there's no other reason to say, why not get a PC? and you have
Right.
all the benefits plus more. And that's just my opinion, and I'm a real life experience of that. But yeah, I
Mhm.
think you're right.
I think more and more people too. Like I know there are kids who aren't even up to driving age yet, which have gaming computers, and it's becoming
Yeah.
more and more of a cool thing just to get a PC instead of a console. Listen, I was diehard PlayStation most of my life. Like I had all the PlayStations. I thought they were way better than Xbox because back in the day, you could play on the PlayStation. You didn't have to pay anything. You didn't have to pay a subscription fee, and on Xbox, you always did.
That was
That
huge
was
too,
one
by the way. That
reason.
was
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, it was huge. And now everything is more the same. You have these I tell you what got me to transfer over to Xbox, it was a game. So like usually what I feel like tells people I'm going to buy this or that is the games, and the games are
Mm-hmm.
becoming more available on everything. I switched to Xbox because of Titanfall. Like that's why I bought an
Oh yeah,
Xbox. I
great.
actually bought one used just so I could play that game, and I fell in love with the whole platform.
Let me
So,
say this real quick, just to jump in on that one section you said. I bought a
sure.
PlayStation 3 and a 4 before the whole console just to play MLB The Show, the baseball game. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right, but I just had
yeah.
to throw that in
So
there. So I agree with you on that.
no, nice man. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting topic, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out because, like, as you get older, these things become interesting, like how these companies operate and everything. To some of the younger crowd that might be listening, this might not be interesting to you, but for us folks that are in our 30s and stuff, like, it's interesting.
No,
It's
it
cool.
is
So,
because you're going back to where we came from, what we grew up
yeah,
with, and we discussed this before, so I won't go into it. But we used to just turn it on the system, putting in a game cartridge, and playing the game.
yeah,
But now you have to really think about where you have to really think about, okay, where are we playing this game? And if I play this game and I buy this game here, can I play it over here? Or say I want to play it on my Steam Deck
yeah,
at work, where do I play it? So now it got me thinking, okay, if I buy it on Steam, I can play it on my Steam Deck. So if I'm at, somewhere like, in the park or something, just chilling out and I want to play my Steam Deck or something, then I can do that.
yeah.
So you have to think about that
Mhm,
kind of stuff now. And you used to not have to think about it. It's when you got
mhm.
home, you had your console on your little TV, and there you go. So,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
with that being said, let's get into the next section and talk a little bit about this game that we tried out, Gotham Knights, a little bit.
Let's do it.
What you
Let's
think?
get it. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Look, today we got a good one. We was playing a little bit last night, like we talked about, and when we was playing a little bit, we was talking about Gotham Knights. We saw it on Game Pass. We both snatched it up. There's another perk of that. Just try it out since we're already paying a subscription. The only thing I'm going to throw out there right at the very beginning is the whole point of getting it was going to play a little co-op and play together. But we spent the past like hour of trying to get through as much as the story as we could, and they still say we have to progress more in the story before we can play together, which I thought was
Yeah.
completely ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Yeah, it is a bit crazy. I mean, it seems like a cool game. It seems like they're trying to bridge the gap between a story-driven game and also how you can unlock, extra equipment, extra outfits, all that stuff. They're trying to make it kind of an online experience too, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think the movement and stuff is a bit dumbed down compared to what it could be, but I think they did just enough to keep it interesting, and the fighting and stuff is pretty simple, but man, they do some bad A moves though.
Dude. Yeah, it's some
They beat the
awesome
crap out of
moves.
people. And I unlocked an ability. I forget what it's called, but essentially, like I'm playing on the keyboard, so I just hit the number one after I build this up. After you build up the bar for it, you hit n- n- number one, and then she goes like, and she just starts punching really fast and just beats the ever living crap out of whoever is on the other end of this.
Yeah, you're Batgirl,
And that's
right?
only one
Yeah.
ability that I've unlocked. So who knows what else there is that's going to be really cool to try out. So I say we try to give it a chance and get to
Yeah.
it where we can at least play together and see what
Well,
that experience is like, you know.
we would need to give it a chance. I will say this. What's kind of got me where I would want to go back to it is the graphics and the story so far is pretty good. Man, I mean, when you started that game, I never expected to be watching like a movie at the beginning of that thing.
Yeah.
And it was like the longest cutscene where Batman actually dies in the cutscene. Yeah. And man, I'm telling you, it's pretty good. And you think it's over with. Like, Gray was a little ahead of me, guys. And I kept saying, hey, are you done yet? He's like, yeah, I think it's done. And then I keep watching. I'm like, there's no way it's done. I was that far behind him. So about 10 minutes later, I'll be like, hey, man, are you still watching this? Yeah, I'm still watching it. I'm like, dude, how long is this cutscene going to be? You know, but we definitely got to keep trying and maybe try the co-op and see how that goes. But it kind of reminds me of a Spider-Man. If anybody wants a comparison, the fighting style is kind of like the Spider-Man game where you dodge and then you hit. What's it called? Nightwalker? Walker? Is that what it is? Nightwing? Nightwing?
Nightwing, that's him.
Nightwing, that's who I am. So anyways, definitely if we don't have much, we just played like an hour. But if y'all get involved with it and you want to try it out, so far, you know, you at least get to watch a very awesome cutscene at the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
and it's developed on Unreal Engine 4, and I can't help but think, what would this be like if it was in Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah.
You know, for it to run this good, like I turned on ray tracing, and I turned on what is it called? NVIDIA DLSS.
Oh yeah,
where,
yeah.
You know, it uses
it upscales
like AI learning upscale thing. Yeah. And I'm running in 1440p on high settings, and you know, looks great. And I don't have like a super powerful laptop either. I mean, it's got a 2070 Super in it, but man, this game runs like butter. And I've seen other games that look worse run a lot worse on my system. So I was very impressed with how beautiful it was, how the lighting was, and how smooth it ran. Just like out of the box. So I think it's gonna be cool. Like, I enjoy.
I might have lost you.
Oh, did you lose me?
Oh, you back? Hello? Yep, lost you just for a second, but we're good.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I enjoyed a lot traversing around the city too. To get up high and to look around at all the fog and the atmospheric effects on everything was really neat. It looks beautiful at night, and you also get a motorcycle during the day.
The motorcycle
during like all the time, I guess.
The motorcycle is awesome.
I've only played at nighttime, so yeah, it was really, really cool.
Well, Gotham's only nighttime, right? Like,
it seems that way.
Yeah, but I would say this: check out Gotham Knights if you haven't. It's worth a shot so far. We're going to give it a chance. It's definitely something that maybe after you get through it, you can play with your friends as well. So I would definitely recommend trying that game out, man. And it definitely, if you're a Batman fan, you know, everybody's kind of grown up watching their superheroes and stuff. Batman's not in it, but you have like Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and what's the red guy's name? I keep wanting to say Drop Shot, Red Hood. I keep wanting to say Drop Shot. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think Drop Shot would have been a better name. But anyways, let's go into...
I've been playing as Batgirl, and her voice,
it's annoying.
Whoever the voice actor is, I mean, like, it's good sometimes, but then there's other times where it's like, holy crap. Like, they could kind of dial that in a little bit more.
It's funny that you said that, because I remember we was playing, and I can hear her voice, right, in my playthrough. And I'm like, man, she sounds kind of annoying. So I tell Josh, I was like, Josh, man, it's like, your girl sounds annoying, bro. He's like, yeah, I know, man. She's terrible. Like, we, you know, she's probably the sweetest girl now. Let me say that. But like her voice, man,
sure she's great.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and yep. I could say other things about it, but I'm not going to. We'll just
Yeah.
move
All
on.
right, let's go into the last section with Hellblade. Man, let me
Yes,
have it, man.
Hellblade.
Tell me about the VR Hellblade. That is what I'm concentrating
Uh,
on here because I have not experienced
so
that, and I'm dying to know, is it worth it?
yeah, so I was so excited about talking about it that I kind of talked about some of it earlier when I talked about my gaming moment of the week. But essentially, I was expecting to hop inside this experience and you to be controlling her, maybe swinging around a sword. I didn't know what they were going to do, but instead, it seems like they took an artistic approach to how they approached VR with Hellblade, to where she's interacting with you, just like she does on the flat screen version,
Yeah.
but you're actually there, third person VR, much like it would be if, I guess, she's like schizophrenic, bipolar,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, maybe has extra people in her head. And it's like you're that extra person there floating behind her. And you can hear all the other voices and stuff. She'll turn around and talk to you some. And there's also a part at the very beginning where she talks to some man. She's like imagining that she sees him. And I believe they show like the real person in the VR
Oh,
experience. It looks like real person there. Um,
but can you
it's
imagine with the VR experience, like you actually experiencing what it's like to be hearing those voices like that for real,
yeah,
like the
it's
immersiveness of
very
it?
freaky. Yeah, it's very freaky, but it's also like I wasn't as scared. I was more just like, "Whoa, this is really neat,"
Yeah.
watching the story unfold. Yeah, and it's also good because I haven't hopped in VR in quite a while, and
Mm-hmm.
usually when I do, I play a lot of games that you have to stand, you might have to like shoot or grab things. Well, it's nice just to be in a game, and the only thing that controls inside of VR that's not a controller is like my head. I can look a direction and she'll kind of walk that way some, but I'm controlling her mainly with an Xbox controller. So I get to chill in my chair and play this game and like look around, and I don't have to stand up and do stuff. And that's fun every now and then to do that inside a VR to where you're not,
Yeah.
having to move around and stuff. Um but I was just amazed that I could grab this game for $3. Like
As
3
you keep saying,
three
yeah.
bucks and to get this experience from it already,
Yeah.
it's well worth the money. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot more moments, I believe, that happen that I'm gonna probably talk about next week.
Yeah.
Um I kinda wanna
Well,
go into like Hellblade game. Let's see, the game engine, what they're using. So
yeah.
this is also using Unreal Engine 4, the same engine as the game we just talked about,
Yeah, and the next and the
Gotham
next
Knight.
yeah, and but Hellblade 2 is coming out actually, and I think they're on Unreal Engine 5. If I
Dude,
remember correctly. I mean I don't know,
yeah.
but I think it's going to be switched over to
That's what's
Unreal
so
Engine 5.
crazy is like even in VR, which usually can like push your system a little bit, it looks amazing. And I even have my computer in the lowest mode of like as far as how much power it's going to give to the graphics and everything.
Yeah.
I got it in the lowest mode just to keep the temperatures down, and it still runs really good in VR. Everything is on high, like um and it's just smooth as it can be and looks great. So I think everything on the Unreal Engine platform just is so proficient on how it runs. And I'm excited for the next one. So just for a little bit of backstory, um, I want to kind of go in. Let's see. So the game is set in late eighth century. The game starts with Senua, which is played by Melina Jurgens, a picked warrior from Orkney arriving at the border of Helheim in a quest to save the soul of her dead lover, Dylan, from the goddess Hela. So there's a lot of lore here that maybe
Mm-hmm.
intertwines with what's going on.
Some really good fighting too. That's in that game.
Yeah. So
I
I've
played
only
about three
fought
quarters
a
of
few
it.
of them.
So,
It's
so
cool how you block, and you have a light attack
yeah,
and a heavy attack, and it's really cool to like be there in VR and watch this happening too.
yeah,
So
that's awesome. Well, we
so
definitely
you
look for.
actually beat the game?
No, I'm like three quarters of the way, I believe, and I just for some
Okay.
reason I think I stopped or something. I played on the Xbox
Yeah.
Series X. I need to get it again though. Definitely, if it's $3, I can probably get it for Steam, and I don't know if the save data
Well,
go or do it on Xbox.
you already
On
got
PC.
it. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
we
I
did
just
the
like to
game
have
fair,
stuff.
so
I like. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
yeah.
I just want to
'cause
get my
this isn't a
saves.
multiplayer game,
Yeah.
you know.
That's the only thing with it. But I think I got so many games I'm trying to play right now. It's like trying to beat. Like
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I'm still trying to beat Alan Wake as we talk. So,
Oh yeah.
but
There's a lot to that though. Like I get it, and if you ever decide to come down and hunt, like you can totally try the VR experience here.
well, I'm gonna need you to talk to my
for
chief
the
if you don't mind with Mardi Gras coming up and seeing if he had just let me off. If you don't mind, I appreciate that. So
I'll talk to him. I don't have anything to
yeah,
lose. I'll talk to him.
I
What's
like
up,
it. I like
dude?
the confidence. Man, with that being said, I got to hop off of here. I got the fence guy here to try to do some
Okay.
help me out. But it's been a great show. I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm going to play a little bit our outro music and kind of go and get out of here, man. What you think?
All right, let's do it, bro.
All I'm going to say is I appreciate all you guys. Appreciate you stopping in, especially if you're tuning in live right now on YouTube or on Twitch. Every Sunday, videos drop Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Our podcast will drop Monday morning for sure because I think Gray handles that. But make sure you can catch us, like we said, on YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts. What am I leaving out, Gray?
And if you want to reach out with any questions, comments, maybe you could share your favorite gaming moment of the week, you can reach out at ggratedchannel@gmail.com. That's ggratedchannel@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thank you again for stopping in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Check out Gotham Knights if you haven't, and also HellBlade. I know it's a little older one, but it's a great pickup to do, especially in VR, as Gray said. So, guys, see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.